Coming up on UCF Nightly News, we take a look at why the Orange County Sheriff's Office is now facing a lawsuit. This comes 2 years after Valencia student Mia Marcano was found dead.
Also, we look into Florida Highway Patrol about pedestrian safety precautions students should be taking.
Later on, we check back in with UCF student government to see whether students will be getting an excused absence on Election Day.
In sports, we'll check out how the Knights women's soccer achieved its highest ranking since 2021.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Leeann Figueroa.
And I'm Heather Bazley. Today is Friday, September 29th, 2023. 2 years after the death of Mia Marcano, her family has filed a lawsuit against the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Marcano's family believes there was negligence from the Orange County Sheriff's Office while running the investigation. Marcano was a Valencia student who went missing last September, eventually being found dead. We spoke to the Marcano family lawyer on why the family believes more could have been done.
Deputy just taking the basic care. We like to say, had he just exercised some sense of compassion and tried to question Caballero, who was out there at the scene, the family believed that there's a chance that Mia could be alive today.
The suit comes after the family sued the Arden Villas apartment complex where Mia lived. Along with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, the family is also suing 2 officers who worked on the case.
Many UCF students are speeding past traditional skateboards and bikes and opting for their motorized counterparts. But after a 22-year-old man was struck and killed riding one just weeks ago, authorities and students alike want others to be aware of the dangers. Nightly News was on scene weeks ago as the Florida Highway Patrol investigated the intersection of Alafaya Trail and Central Florida Boulevard, the scene where a 22-year-old man was struck and killed while riding a motorized skateboard the night before. Students can be seen riding boards like that one and similar personal electric vehicles every day to get around UCF's 1,400-acre campus. Scooters like the one behind me average out at about 15 miles per hour, but some students choose to modify their own devices so they can go even faster. Junior marketing major and transfer student Blaine Miller came from FAU, where he was struck by a car while riding his motorized skateboard on the campus.
This car comes turning, I guess he had like a yellow flashing arrow or something, and just didn't look. So we're both going around like 24 miles an hour. When we hit, I get tossed up on the hood, head cranks the windshield.
Blaine says the crash happened around 10 at night, and he simply thinks the car didn't see him in time. The Florida Highway Patrol says taking precautions to make yourself visible to drivers can keep you out of a potentially deadly situation.
When you are on these devices, because they are quicker than just your walking speed, make sure that you can be seen. Don't wear dark clothing, maybe have reflectors, maybe a light attached, and making sure that they see you and you see them.
Blaine says he wants other students to continue enjoy riding around campus, but he wants them to cruise with caution.
I was 2 feet away from the car. I'm like, there's no way I'm about to get hit. And 2 seconds later, I'm on the hood of a car. I'm like, wow. So like, even up until it happens, you don't think it's going to happen to you. And when it does, it's just like, it's just a reality check in a way.
Florida Highway Patrol says that as of the beginning of September, there have been over 40 pedestrian fatalities in Orange County alone. In Orlando, Leeann Figueroa, UCF Nightly News. The Florida Highway Patrol urges students who use motorized devices to be alert and aware of their surroundings at all times.
Nightly News first brought you the news of Resolution 5504 a few weeks ago, a student government policy that will allow students to have an excused absence from class on Election Day. The resolution has now passed the Senate with a vote of 31 to 2. However, Government Affairs and Policy Chair Ethan Temple says the resolution still has progress to make before it's officially implemented, and it may not happen as quickly as some may have hoped.
Yes, I do wish that more progress would be made on this. The fact of the matter is progress has been made outright, and that's ultimately what I'm looking at. I don't really mind the pace of it so long as we can get a tangible product to the policy committee within a reasonable timeline that will impact students the most.
The taxes and fees, which is
Must be seen by the Faculty Senate as well as reviewed by the Vice Provost prior to it being implemented. SGA is hoping to have the absence policy in place prior to the 2024 election.
In March, the Writers Guild of America announced nearly 99% of its members voted in favor of demands such as calls for increased pay. Another one of those demands includes protection from artificial intelligence job interference. Sean Mondesire, an assistant professor at the School of Modeling and Simulation, works directly with AI and says its threats towards the writers is justified.
The amount of technology innovations that's taken place the last 2 years have made the way to generate these stories, the way to generate just the visuals pretty realistic. So I think that there's always going to be some kind of threat.
These threats, the Writers Guild of America screenwriters went on to strike in early May of this year. Nightly news reporter Avery Jens shares more about where the writers' strike is now.
After almost 5 months, the Writers Guild strike officially came to an end on Wednesday. The Writers Guild of America unanimously voted to recommend an agreement worked out with studios and streamers. Barry Sandler, UCF Associate Professor of Film and Mass Media, is a member of WGA and joined in on the protests.
A deal was made this week that I thought was very favorable. I think is very favorable to the writers. We didn't get everything, but we got pretty damn close to what we wanted.
The deal includes a 5% minimum pay increase upon the ratification of the contract, with a 4% bump in May of 2024 and another 3.5% increase in May of 2025.
Although the writers are done with their strike, the same can't be said for everyone. Actors on platforms such as Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney Plus are still on strike.
Adam Vernay, an actor who can be seen in the Netflix series Outer Banks, is one of the actors on strike.
You know, when the union work does come and the SAG actors are involved, obviously everyone goes for it, and there hasn't been anything because of the strike. Most of the union members respect that and don't go for the non-union work, so we're all trying to find other gigs.
SAG actors have been on strike since July of this year, just 2 months after the writer's strike began. Following in the footsteps of the writers, the striking actors like Vernay and the studios involved will resume negotiations on a new labor contract on Monday. In Orlando, Avery Jens, UCF Nightly News.
Vernay says he hopes some things that come out of this agreement include fair pay for actors and for local hire to come to an end.
In late August, Campus Pride released their annual Top 30 Colleges and Universities for LGBTQ students. Due to the recent laws in Florida and Texas schools, and these states have been removed. UCF Nightly News reporter Ronald Perretti has more on how this may affect UCF.
UCF has previously been ranked highly as a university for LGBTQ students. This year, however, they failed to be included in the top 30 list due to recent laws in the state. Even with these laws in place, we talked to junior Amanda Perez on what students should consider before making a decision.
Personally, I feel like living in Florida, you have to make that decision. It's like you're either going to be comfortable with like things being done here or like you're not. And it's like that really just plays into like where you choose to go.
While students like Amanda say they haven't yet felt the effects of these new laws, others say there's a bigger impact. UCF political science professor Aubrey Jewett says that students within these marginalized communities may feel like they're under attack.
It's a real attack, and that now a lot of these different groups who are minority groups in the sense that they are less numerically than the majority, any of those groups I just mentioned, that they're not going to be receiving the support.
Despite the budget cuts, UCF still has different ways for LGBTQ students to get involved, to feel welcome and accepted. UCF remains ranked as a 4.5-star university for LGBTQ+ students. The UCF Civil Discourse and Engagement works with the Lavender Council to make sure these students remain included with services such as Pride Commons. According to UCF, Pride Commons is an all-inclusive safe space that caters to the LGBTQ+ community. Another route that LGBTQ+ students use is the Pride Student Association. PSA's mission is to celebrate diversity, promote unity, and empower individuals by providing a platform for UCF students. In Orlando, Ronald Perretti, UCF Knightly News.
UCF will have to wait until next August to see where they rank after being officially reinstated in the list.
Nightly News weather anchor Sadaya Keita joins us at the desk now.
So Sadaya, what's the weather looking like right now?
So, thanks Heather. The temperature outside right now is 88 degrees. It's going to be very cloudy with a humidity of 81% and a high chance of rain at 80%. It won't be too windy today, so with the winds coming in from the northeast at only 5 miles per hour. That's all the time I have for right now, but more on the later on weather on the show later. Thank you, Leeann and Heather.
When we come back, we'll look at how a local coffee shop gets supported by their customers in their time of need.
Plus, we take a look at how FTC battles Amazon over the inflation of online prices.
Later, we'll look back on the devastation Hurricane Ian caused just a year ago. Nightly News reporter Isabella Benjumea shows us where those who were impacted are at today.
Nightly News, we'll be right back. Fields, the director of Downtown Collado Cafe, has witnessed love and support firsthand. After a rushed financial patch, the Orlandoans gathered to help him with a high sense of community support. Nightly News reporter Afraa Naamani brings us the sights and sounds of Collado Cafe.
Downtown Collado coffee shop saw overwhelming support from the Orlando Downtown Collado coffee shop saw over
The Federal Trade Commission and 17 other states are suing Amazon on antitrust charges. In a complaint filed in federal court on Tuesday, the FTC and attorney generals from 17 states accused Amazon of wielding its power to inflate prices and degrading quality for shoppers. The agency laid out a two-pronged strategy by which Amazon, quote, unlawfully maintains its monopoly power.
I think the quality of the products still need to be good. Small business owners need an opportunity to have part of the platform, and they need to be fair to them. And I would just like, shipment times to be the same as they have been.
Amazon released a statement claiming that if the FTC wins this lawsuit, the result will be fewer products to choose from, higher prices, slower deliveries for customers, and reduced options for small businesses.
1 year ago, Hurricane Ian hit Central Florida, leaving historic flooding and disaster. The UCF community felt the impacts of this storm directly, and a year later, some are still recovering from it. Nightly news reporter Isabella Bentuema talked to some students and alumni who lost their homes and tell us how they're doing today.
I don't know if I'm really healthy today. I still have trauma from that.
This is how many UCF students feel after suffering severe flooding and losses 1 year ago when Hurricane Ian swept through Florida as a Category 4. Those living in apartment complexes near campus felt the effects right at the tip of their toes. Just like UCF sophomore Raifa Rahman, who lived at the place at Alafaya and said that she lost some of her most valuable possessions.
We're able to salvage some things, but like the most valuable possessions, like instruments, personal, sentimental items, and academic writings or personal writings, they're gone.
Art in Villas is one of those places that experienced flooding and losses but still stands here today, housing UCF students. But others, like the place at Alafaya, have temporarily closed to redevelop after their residents were forced to leave when their apartments were left uninhabitable by the hurricane.
1 year later, this is how the place at Alafaya looks like. Abandoned, closed off with fences, with debris on the ground, and completely empty. Neighborhoods by Rouse Road were also underwater for about 3 days, according to UCF alumni Ashley Rudolph, who said that she's still dealing with Ian's aftermath and trying to get help from officials.
I think most of the homes had damage in them. Everybody's floors were destroyed, walls had to be replaced. We're still, me and neighbors are still dealing with it till today, a year later. Still in negotiations and meetings with Commissioner and with people of the state to try and get help or funding, but nothing has been confirmed.
Ashley's finally in the last renovations of her home, and Raifa has found a new apartment, but the effects of Hurricane Ian still remain with them. In Orlando, Isabella Benjumea, UCF Knightly News.
Hurricane season is still going until November 30th. There are currently 2 named storms moving in the Atlantic.
Coming up, we'll take a look at what the weather is looking like in Central Florida. We'll also see what the conditions will be like for your weekend plans.
Plus, our friends from Emily Riddle will give us the lowdown on what's brewing in the tropics.
Later on in sports, Nightly News reporter Amy Diaz goes live at the FBC Mortgage Stadium to tell us more about tomorrow's Big 12 game.
Nightly News, we'll be right back.
Okay, we're transitioning to weather.
Officially fall and pumpkin spice season is in full swing, but the weather doesn't seem to have gotten the memo.
Yeah, the sun has been pretty strong lately. Let's head back to Sadaya to see what the weather will be like this week.
Yeah, Sadaya, are we going to get into fall weather anytime soon?
Hey ladies, no fall weather soon. We still kind of have some heat kind of going on. As you can see all throughout with Florida. We have Jacksonville at the 82. We have Tallahassee here at the 87. Tampa 89, Orlando 88, and Miami 87. So we're still going to have high temperatures, all that kind of stuff. Now for the 5-day forecast. For the 5-day forecast, you see here, Saturday 86, Sunday 84, Monday 85, so still pretty hot. You know, throughout the weekend we'll have high precipitation chances of 70%, 40%, so expect some rain throughout the weekend. But yeah, still going to be hot. Not necessarily ready for fall weather and all that kind of stuff yet, but we'll be getting there very soon, very, very soon. That's all the time I have. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. Back to you, Heather and Leeann.
Daya.
Now let's check in with our partners at Embly-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Meteorology major Max Schuster shows us what's happening across the nation.
A crazy weather pattern is coming to the United States, and this is called an omega block pattern. What that essentially means is that we have a strong high pressure system in the southern tier of the United States, bringing warmer conditions and as well as drier weather. Into the northeast United States, we have a trough, and then back over on the west coast of the United States, we also have a strong low pressure system. This creates the Greek letter in omega block, and that's overall going to be our weather pattern throughout the weekend. We'll be watching for some showers and storms back down in Florida, though. That's the one exception because of a stationary frontal boundary. And we'll talk about more on that here in just a moment. Severe weather threat for today is all across the northern plains near Minneapolis back through Sioux City. This is mainly for damaging winds and large hail, maybe a brief tornado as well, so I have a tornado action plan in place just in case. Back closer to home, we're watching for a strong southerly wind to continue to bring moisture to Florida. We also have a stationary frontal boundary from the Atlantic Ocean back through the Gulf of Mexico, and this will continue to increase our rain chances for the next several days in Florida. And through Sunday, we'll be watching for upwards of 2 to 4 inches of rain in isolated locations.
For the break, we'll take a look into how the women's soccer team is adapting to the Big 12.
Plus, we'll head to the FBC Mortgage Stadium where nightly news reporter Amy Diaz is live with a preview of tomorrow's game. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Good afternoon, Knights. I'm Avery Jens, here to give you your UCF sports update. There will be lots to celebrate this weekend as UCF's football team plays against the Baylor Bears. Nightly News reporter Amy Diaz is live at the stadium. Amy, what can we expect for tomorrow?
Yes, Avery, tomorrow at this time, thousands of fans will be coming into the FBC Mortgage Stadium to fill all of these empty seats. And they won't be filling them for just any ordinary game. Tomorrow marks the first time UCF will play a league team here at home. It's also family weekend, which means these empty seats aren't going to just be filled by students, but their family members as well. So the student gates will open at 1:30 p.m. 30 minutes later at 2 p.m., the rest of the gates will open at the same time. March for Victory will be happening, and the game is scheduled to kick off at 3:30. Now, remember, if you have a student ticket, that doesn't guarantee you'll actually get into the stadium. The game is sold out, so officials recommend that you arrive early and with lots of patience. Avery?
Thanks, Amy. The UCF women's soccer team receives their highest ranking on the United Soccer Coaches ranking poll since 2021. With the release of the United Soccer Coaches Week 6 rankings Tuesday afternoon, the Knights have entered the poll at number 19. That is their highest ranking since August 2021, when the women's soccer team ranked number 19 as well. The Black and Gold have had a great start to its fresh Big 12 conference season with 3 wins on its first 4 matches. That's all the time we have for today. Back to you, Leeann and Heather.
Thanks, Avery. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, www.nicholsonstudentmedia.com.
And if you got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynewsucf@gmail.com or on Instagram at UCF Nightly News. Thanks for watching and have a good day.